Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I am back once again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Donkey Kong 64 for the Nintendo 64. So, last time, we have essentially did somehow manage to got started to able to explore through Creepy Castle, which, despite the fact that we did come across into quite a few deaths here and there, and don't even get me started on the forms of that frustration, which appears to be by the forms of the returning minigame, that I wasn't really too thrilled to begin with. That's of course Beaver Bother ever since in Frantic Factory, and same applies to the forms of Minecart Mayhem, which, as a result, luckily, the Minecart Mayhem, for that particular minigame in mind, that was actually the final time we did see that minigame ever since in the last video, so thank God we don't have to play that minigame ever again. At least if I was assuming so anyway. So today, for this video, is about the fact that we are still continuing things on in Creepy Castle, and wait a second, that environment looks familiar, doesn't it? Well, it appears to say, this environment looks very identical as we've already experienced Frantic Factory, so relatively speaking, I think we have to deal with another race, apparently. So, I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be the final race, per se, but either way, though, because I haven't exactly paid attention to the forms of the amount of times you have to replay certain stuff. So, anyway, so yeah, we're going back into Frantic Factory, apparently, except this time around, though, about the fact that it's now, you know, the rematch against with the forms of our familiar racing companion, which appears to be by the forms of the RC car ever since in Frantic Factory. So rather than taking place in the forms of the slot car environment or anything else like that, and there's no TNT barrels to avoid, and in addition to that though, there's no way you can able to actually boost this time. So relatively speaking though, it's just a very simple, like, you know, a lot of like explorative type of racetrack or something like that, even though it's a bit difficult to explain, because I know for a fact that it's been about, I would say 3 days ago, since we actually last touched this game, so, and just like it informs of how it does in one of those races in Gloomy Galleon, you have to able to go through those gates, because if you missed about 5 times, then you obviously disqualified, and because of that though, yeah, it's kind of similar to the informs of how it does in like a mashup between let's just say Frantic Factory, alongside with Gloomy Galleon. Although the only thing that you do need to worry about is, of course, there are a ton of boxes that you do definitely need to avoid, because if you dare touch one of those boxes, you lose your DK coins, and because of that, you still need to able to collect some more DK coins until you're able to claim yourselves a nice reward, and you also have to win a race as well. So there we go. That basically does it for this mission. And I think, fundamentally speaking though, I think this might actually be the last racing minigame as far as, or should I say, the racing challenges throughout the entire game. At least if I'm assuming so anyway, although I may be wrong, because again it's been about 3 days ago since we've actually last played this for sure. But either way, I think we're basically done with this area, so yeah, all it needs to do now is just basically we have to able to keep on exploring through some other sections that we haven't exactly explored yet. So either way though, things gets a little bit more relative at that point. So anyway, so a few things I want to explain for this particular topic for this point is that, well, today's day is of course the 19th of February today, in this case in 2023 today. Naturally speaking though, about the fact the matter is though, is that, well, I'll explain more details about the forms of that particular topic for today, but you know, as far as you probably already know about the fact the matter is though, like I've already mentioned about this before, that I kind of believe that Toy Story 5 is happening. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, again, we don't know exactly when that film is going to be released, but my guess it will probably have to be 2025 or later on throughout the entire, like, I don't know about you, like a new era or something. But either way though, well, at least I don't know exactly what the story plot is going to be all about, because keep that in mind that Toy Story 4 did exist, and because of that though, well, again, I'm probably not going to spoil that much endings for certain movies as far as I'm aware, so relatively speaking though about the fact that, well, we'll just see what happens in due time, especially that, well, you know what I mean, so So anyways, in here, this is where we have to able to use Chunky Kong, as you probably already know, thanks to the forms of that Gorilla Gon ability. Seriously, that move is like super ridiculous and stupid at the same time. But basically, in this part right there, is that we have to get rid of those bats while only transform into Gorilla Gon, and that way you can get yourselves a, well, what else? A golden banana. So, seems like we haven't got that much progressioning so far for the likes of Creepy Castle, because again, this place is really huge, as I've already pointed things out ever since Infinity Forms of on Friday, so in this case Friday the 17th of February, so... Oh yeah, talking of which actually, it's about the fact that we haven't got that long now until that Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is going to be slowly approaching to its release on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm very excited about that game, and especially noticeable, that's only the reason why I somehow refused to able to get the demo version of the game, because technically speaking, I've already experienced the Wii version before, so I basically know what I'm about to be doing for this point. So relatively speaking, it's nice to able to see that, you know, the good old Kirby game to be brought back. So either way, so let's go and switch over to Lanky Kong. As you probably already know, the fastest method for doing this is by able to actually get inside the actual boss portal for some reason, because I've honestly have no idea why I just did that. But anyway, so in this particular section right there, we have to go for this entire maze. So in some cases though, all you have to do is pretty simple, is you have to make your way to where the golden banana is, and then once you're able to obtain a golden banana, then obviously, well, keep that in mind though, is about the fact that it feels very similar to the forms of how it does it in Gourby's Valley, in one of those maze sections in Banjo-Kazooie. Well, we have to worry about the time limit, because I can assure you, if the time runs out, I believe the Get Out voice will be able to exist or something. So, but either way, first attempt, I somehow managed to get our pretty good navigation, all things considered. So, and something tells me now the exit is now opened up. And I believe there's also something is about to appear in this particular hedgy maze, and that will have to be, of course, a battle pad. So, hopefully we'll do that next. So, and I think, relatively speaking, when it comes to the forms of those battle pads, this is where the battle pads sections can get a bit more, ton more difficult due to the forms of enemy encounters, and I believe that the time limit is now going to get increased. So because of this though, no longer it's going to have to be a shortest time limit, so we have to go for a much more lengthy time. So, but either way, we'll find our way to able to actually get to the actual, the battle pad, which we've already just somehow found it. And exponentially, we're able to take on the forms of, you know, a more series of enemies. And now we have 80 seconds in order to able to survive for this particular battle arena. So, yeah, it seems pretty maddening, all things considered. Especially because, well, relatively speaking, that, I've got nothing more to add around here, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, I should probably also mention about this as well, I guess, that I suppose I totally forgot to mention about, including Silver the Hedgehog has completely forgot to mention about during the forms of a Mega Man X playthrough, that basically though, is that, well, suffice to say, happy 10th anniversary of the existed Nintendo Direct during the forms of the 14th of February back in 2013, which I do remember that time they somehow managed to mainly focusing on, you know, the actual special presentation all about the year of Luigi, which, kind of think about it, there's one thing I totally forgot to mention about during the forms of in the last video on this, is that it's a bit of a shame that Nintendo does not mention about the forms of the year of Luigi for its 40th anniversary, sadly, but my guess is probably because of the forms of how the fact that the actual the money lost after the events of the 30th anniversary of Luigi or something. Although time will tell, but either way though, because we're still in the forms of the second month of the year so far, so either way, time will tell, time will tell. But there we go, we've actually completed the actual battle pad. So in some cases though, I think, relatively speaking, that if I recall correctly anyway, I'm pretty sure we actually got about 8 battle crowns so far. So I think we've only got about 2 more battle crowns left. I keep thinking about the forms at the beginning of the game, But relatively speaking though, we actually still getting very, very close towards the end of the game. And I'm pretty sure about the fact that, as far as I already mentioned about this before, this particular Let's Play is going to be much longer. In terms of the forms of those rare series of games, this is by far the longest one we've ever done. Well, usually by saying for this point. So, because, you know, a lot of backtracking is going to be involved, and especially noticeable with a lot of constant switching between those different Kongs alike. So, and also I just realized that we've almost done with the forms of those banana collecting for Tiny Kong, because as far as I'm aware, well, generally we've already done with this particular bin section, so because of that though, what's the point of able to actually just double check on certain things. But either way though, that's all I could really doubt for anyway. So anyways, we'll go ahead and switch over back to Donkey Kong again, so just to ensure that we will be able to deal with, you know, some more sections here and there. And also, as far as I've noticed, is that if you ever played the original hardware, whenever you go into the actual transition between you know, the boss portal all the way back up to the forms of the regular world, there might be occasional lag on the original cartridge version, but either way though, I have no idea why I somehow addressed that. So, anyways, let's go through the entire, I would say a museum or something, because, well, relatively speaking, no. Well, at least we've already familiar with that particular room, and especially noticeable with the music itself too, because apparently though, we technically already explored this area, thanks to Tiny Kong, but we haven't exactly experienced this area yet. So, but that's when Donkey Kong comes into play. So, and I think something tells me we need to, oh, first of all, there's a banana balloon right here, so we can potentially try to pop it. If I can, there we go. And I think we've only got the halfway point left for, you know, collecting some small regular green bananas for, oh, there's the golden banana right there. But I believe if you leave the switch, then obviously it'll close. So what we're supposed to do is that we need able to smack these little, shields here. And basically, once you've done so already, then basically it actually reveals the actual rock. So, potentially speaking though, we can now able to use that heavy rock to able to actually place that particular switch, so that way we can now able to actually guarantee to get ourselves the, what else? The actual golden banana itself, and as well as the forms of that bunch of banana right there. So, we'll try to grab that in a moment. So, yeah, we'll place that right here. So, either way, let's just go ahead and obtain that. And I think the golden banana was actually on the left, if I was assuming correctly. Although, despite the fact that I'm not exactly sure what I was doing, because the camera angles might have felt a bit confused at points. So we'll just, there it is. No wonder why that's there. But either way, let's just go ahead and, can you do a backflip? Thank you. Hey, took a bit of a while. 179 golden bananas. So, yeah, relatively speaking, we are definitely getting there, but it's just about the fact that the actual process of getting from one place to the other might take a bit while. And relatively speaking, I don't know if we can able to actually complete this world during this video or the next video, but either way, we shall see what happens in due time. So, time will tell. Alright, so I think we're basically done here, because obviously we've now basically, well, completed the rest of the forms of the museum section, so, or generally speaking, one of those random rooms or something like that. So, again, I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit, iffy at this point today, because, relatively speaking though, I felt a little bit rough today. Clearly because you do realize that my voice is actually sounding a bit weird, because, well, I just felt a little bit rough today. But either way, I'm still okay enough as it is, but it's just that it's been one of those days about the fact that sometimes if I felt a bit slightly downsized or rough or anything else like that, and dang, I somehow accidentally died. But the only reason why I somehow died in the first place is because of that quick access to able to actually get back down to the bottom as we go. And now, since we've actually got ourselves our sniper mode for the actual first-person view, that means we can now able to go inside this tree. So, I think we should probably get started with Donkey Kong's first, and then we'll able to save Donkey Kong for later, because something tells me about the fact that, well, there's a bunch of bananas right there. And I believe there's gonna be a banana balloon around here somewhere. So, yeah, we'll, essentially trying to able to deal with that. So, speaking of such... Yeah, you see what I mean about the fact that this is a perfect example of why that we came back here for later as opposed to earlier on, because as you can see, the actual I would say pineapple switch is somehow closed off. So relatively speaking, what we're supposed to do is that we have to stay away from the actual pineapple switch, and that way you would be able to actually just to shoot from the furthest distance. So, and that is when the actual sniper mode comes into play. So either way, it will just go to the zoom in function and just try to get the accurate shot from here, and that should probably do the trick. And from here, we're able to actually get ourselves another bonus barrel. So I'm very curious to see what this next minigame is going to be. But either way, we'll just trying to able to... Why is the actual banana balloon is not popped up for some reason? Okay, there we go. Now it did show up. I think this is by far the hardest banana balloon to be able to pop, because no matter what though, it just keeps moving, so... But either way, we did somehow accomplish it anyway, so... In we go to the next minigame, so let's see what... Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I hate this! Oh, beaver bother again. So you see what I mean? That this is one of the points that the world starts to get a lot more difficult because of this abomination of this minigame, because I just have no idea why. We have to do this twice in this world, which thankfully it only happens one time in Frantic Factory, but for whatever reason in Creepy Castle, they just love this minigame so much. And I think, fundamentally speaking though, thankfully though, this will be actually be the final time we're going to be playing this minigame, so thank God, because this minigame is driving me insane, especially because, again, with all this weird collusion thing right there, when you're trying to able to deliver the beavers into the hole, and it's just, it's not very fun for me, and I'm just so glad that we've actually come to its conclusion to this godforsaken minigame like this one, so... But again, sometimes it can be felt a bit extremely luck-based at times, especially noticeable that certain beavers will, you know, refuse to able to actually get into the actual hole itself. But there we go. Thank God, no more beaver bothers. I'm done with you. I'm done with you, beaver bothers. You disappointed me. Because, well, I just want to move on to a... Let's just say an easy minigames in the future, because, well, I think speaking of minigames though, I think we're basically almost done with the minigames in the entire Donkey Kong 64 game at this point. So, but either way though, let's just go ahead and switch over to Donkey Kong now, just to ensure that we were able to actually tackle for his section next, so... But anyway, as far as looking back on the forms of, you know, February the 14th Nintendo Direct back in 2013 for like 10 years ago. I just love the fact that I do remember that time they managed to be able to mention something related to, you know, Luigi's, you know, the Year of Luigi anniversary special. That's, obviously they do bring out, New Super Luigi U as one of those New Super Mario Bros. U, DLC and stuff. And then, potentially speaking, I do remember that time when I was very excited able to see Mario Golf is actually now returning after the events of the GameCube / Game Boy Advance days. So, well, because relatively speaking though, we haven't exactly got a Mario Golf game on the Wii. Well, Virtual Console games doesn't count because it's all just all about like emulated ports to the already existed games in the past. But either way, that's saying something, so... And right from the get-go, as you can tell, we've already got ourselves our blueprint for Donkey Kong, and especially noticeable with that particular banana balloon, as we've already popped. And also we got ourselves a banana medal too. And something tells me there's a banana fairy in here, but in order able to do so, we have to once again hit those targets, just to ensure that... Oh, there's a golden banana up there too. So either way, let's go and take care of the forms of the banana fairy first. And did I somehow get it? Oh, I missed! I was literally so close to able to get this on a good first attempt for this particular camera capture footage. Hey, this might take a bit while, folks, but either way though, if you assuming you were able to get the most accurate shot, well, as you can tell from there, basically though, we've met again with those familiar target objects ever since in Gloomy Galleon. However, unlike in the forms of how it does it on Gloomy Galleon world, that basically though, about the fact that we have to utilize the actual cannon in order able to actually shoot those targets, and then you have to worry about the time limit as well. Thankfully, in this particular section right here, there's no time limit, and rather than using the actual cannons, so instead we have to utilize the coconut shooter. So I'm very appreciative about this, and I think you have to shoot for about 3 targets just like before, and except this time it's now moving from side to side instead of like the actual full circle around it. So, but either way, I'm pretty sure I do appreciate about the forms of that particular you know, break the targets once again. Well, I obviously have no idea why I say it at this point, because you know what I mean about the fact that it's been a very long while since I actually mentioned something like this. So, anyways, let's get ourselves our glorious golden banana for Donkey Kong right here by doing a backflip. 181 golden bananas, so nicely done. But either way, now we need to able to swim downwards, so just to ensure, I'm pretty sure we've actually done with the forms of not only the entire tree section, but also we somehow got ourselves all 2 banana fairies in this world. So, and I think, relatively speaking, that we've almost done with the forms of that particular banana fairies taking pictures of, because I can assure you that the final 2 banana fairies is gonna be, you know, at the very end of the game. So, either way, we are definitely getting there, folks. We are definitely getting there before we move on to, you know, the next Let's Play or something like that. But time will tell, as I said. So, anyway, so I think we're basically done for now on for Donkey Kong for a little while. So now we need to switch over to Diddy Kong. So just to ensure that we will double check on certain spots. So either way, though, we could potentially try to utilize pad number 2. Because I think something tells me there's going to be another bonus barrel around here somewhere. Like, if we fly all the way up to the top of the castle itself, and if I recall correctly, there's going to be, well, I see a banana bunch right there from that particular platform that we can able to, you know, go around with. And, yeah, there's a bonus barrel just right up there. So either way, we'll fly straight towards it. And from here, we're able to play... Oh, this minigame looks familiar. Big Bug Bash. And I think this is actually the final time we're going to be able to experience this minigame, and accept the fact that, well, this is where the minigames gets a bit tough and difficult, so... But either way, once you're able to actually time your button presses and all that specific stuff, then you should probably deal with this okay enough. So, despite the fact that I just keep missing at the few occasional moments here and there, so... But either way, though, that's as far as I can try to describe it as far as, you know, conversations are concerned. And I kind of believe by saying this, it's been about a year ago since when Nintendo Switch Sports has been first announced back in the forms of in February 2022 Nintendo Direct, and same applies to Mario Strikers Battle League Football, which, despite the fact that those 2 games do have the actual issues where the stupid free updates managed to able to get a lot of, like, not-interested kind of scenario, but either way though, that's as far as saying much. And what's also short things worth noting for is about the fact that I was quite shocked and surprised about the fact that none of those DLC for the likes of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is not even mentioned during the informs of the actual recent Nintendo Direct, which I was hoping we were able to see something more like gameplay footage of the Tower of Doom, and especially noticeable with the second DLC pack as well. But I think they might able to actually show those off at some point when Twitter drops. I'm presuming so anyway, so... But either way, that's as far as I can try to describe about the forms of that particular acknowledgement, I suppose. Oh, god dang it, that stupid drawbridge just somehow managed able to make the actual run felt a bit slightly sluggish at one point, so... But hopefully we'll make our way back to the actual numbered pads again, so just to ensure that we will be able to make our way to that particular segment this time, so... which thankfully we did. Oh, and also short things worth noting for is about the fact that, well, potentially speaking now, as far as what both Silver and Sonic has totally forgot to mention about, during the course of it, not only in Sonic Origins, but also, you know what I mean, with the forms of Mega Man X and stuff like that, that basically, about the fact that, well, Sonic Origins Plus is going to be coming, according to the forms of the Korean rating system. So I'm not exactly sure what that gonna brings us into. I highly doubt they might as well do exactly the same thing as in what they did for the likes of Sonic Mania for Sonic Mania Plus. To be able to actually bring in not only you know, Encore mode, but also with the forms of 2 new playable characters, which are both Mighty and Ray. But either way though, we'll have to wait and see what happens in due time. And also eventually they did the physical releases for you know, Sonic Mania Plus, which, if the physical versions of Sonic Origins Plus do exist, then I'll definitely consider trying to able to get those 3 versions combined. However, though, I'm probably not gonna able to, like, well, it's kind of difficult to say, but either way, though, it's all about speculations at the moment, so... Anyways, there's a banana balloon right there, as you probably already saw. Thanks to those rocket barrels we have to utilize with Diddy Kong, so... everything else will be all pretty swell, if I have to say so. So I believe we now need to able to switch over to a different Kong, just to ensure about the fact that we will be able to, like, keep on searching for stuff. Like, let's just say we'll switch over to Lanky Kong again, so just to ensure that we will double check on certain stuff. And it feels like we've almost done with this world, potentially. But as far as progressing to the boss is concerned, I don't think we could probably able to do it right now or the next day, just because about the fact that I was kind of struggling to able to actually get back into those recording sessions recently once again, just like the forms of how it does it in 2022. But either way though, things do happen sometimes, especially noticeable if I felt a little bit down or anything else like that. But either way though, that's how it usually happens sometimes, unfortunately, but still. Alright, so time to take you on with the actual blueprints that we can now finally obtain. So, and exponentially speaking, if we have a look on the actual blueprints for we did somehow collect it, well, we did collect every single blueprint in the forms of Creepy Castle. So, I think, relatively speaking, I think we've only got one more blueprint left, and that's what appears to be located in DK Isles, which has to be by the forms of, well, Donkey Kong's blueprint, or Splat rather, so... But that won't be for a little while though, especially noticeable because we still need to able to actually go ahead and explore through Creepy Castle as it goes by, because relatively speaking, as I said before, this place is super huge, so... But either way, I suppose we can now able to actually meet up with Snide now, because after all we've got every single blueprint in this world, so... But, yeah, you know, the actual process of able to actually get some more golden bananas while able to actually go for this transition so many times, that it might take a bit while, so... Either way. So, and I do remember back in long time ago, in 10 years ago, about the fact that, wow, I was pretty excited able to see, you know, Mario Luigi Dream Team has been first announced back in 2013, because I was so hyped about that particular game back then, especially that was actually the first ever Mario Luigi game to be released on the actual Nintendo 3DS. Well, you know, with the forms of the RPG series after all, so, and I think that basically does it for, you know, every single blueprint pieces for Lanky Kong, so... And I think something tells me about the fact that once we switch over to Diddy Kong, I believe we were able to actually get ourselves about 2 golden bananas for him, because, well, generally speaking, that we've already got the blueprint in the actual lobby, section of the forms of Creepy Castle from earlier ago. Well, assuming before we dive right into Creepy Castle itself, so... Either way, that's as far as I can usually talk about, because, again, I would love to able to actually mention something else, but either way, I think something tells me, but specifically this week or something like that. Like, in addition about the fact that with Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is actually just around the corner, I believe we might as well get an announcement of the next Pokemon Presents presentation. Like, there might be some speculations at the moment during the forms of that particular Pokemon Presents might eventually happening. You know, just like the forms of how it does it on ever since in 2019 to 2021, and especially noticeable with 2022. Well, mind you, in the forms of 2021, that was actually part of the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Pokemon series, so... But either way, as far as everything else I would like to mention though, is about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, about the fact the matter is though, that I, managed able to actually got some, things to be planned, but either way though, unfortunately though, I haven't exactly decided yet, so, but either way, that might be saying something, and especially noticeable about the fact the matter is though, maybe some people are asking for DLC for, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet eventually, but either way though, time will tell at this point, especially noticeable we haven't exactly got the presentation up yet, so, and what's even very bizarre about the forms of that recent Nintendo Direct is that by the end of that particular moment where they've shown us Tears of the Kingdom at the end of that particular Direct, similar to the forms of how it does it on September 2022 Direct, that for whatever reason we didn't get ourselves the separate presentation focusing on, you know, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm guessing they might as well save it up until at some point in April, before the game actually launched, you know, very similar to the forms of how it does it back in 2019, when they managed able to actually got the Super Mario Maker 2 special presentation Direct, before about a month before the game comes out, so... I highly doubt they might do the same thing from here. And same applies to the forms of, you know, in last year we had Splatoon 3 Direct. That usually it takes place in August last year, but then until about a month later, the game actually comes out. So, I get the strong sense of feeling that we might able to actually get some more infos about, you know, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom by that time until on April, so... I guess that as far as my predictions goes, I think that's essentially all theirs goes, so... Either way, yeah, that's all I can talk about, because again, I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit slightly iffy at points, because again, I'm feeling a little bit slightly rough today, but either way, I will promise you, and during at some point in Wednesday, essentially, then I'm also able to make myself a little bit better at this point, especially because, well, I'm afraid to tell you, there's not much else I can discuss upon in terms of, you know, updates, news, contents, or anything else to be more specific at this point, so, either way. And I suppose, relatively speaking, once we get into the forms of DK Isles, or assumingly if we go back into DK Isles, that basically though is about the fact that we might able to come across into Snite's HQ for the final time, but that won't be for a little while, just because, again, we're still focusing on Creepy Castle from now on, so... So there we go, 2 more golden bananas thanks to Diddy Kong's blueprints. So, yeah, I was right, we've only got about 1 more blueprint left, and that was located on DK Isles, and it's gonna be Donkey Kong's blueprint after all. So, either way though, but again, we'll save that in a future time, because either way, we still got a whole ways to go. So, either way, yeah, that's as far as I can try to discuss the part for this point today, folks, because, again, there's not much else I can say, because, well, I already mentioned about a lot of stuff, thanks to the forms of the past few, stuff has been happening. So, either way, I think suffice to say, we're going to end things off at this point right here. So, join me next time for more Let's Play of Donkey Kong 64, is that we're going to be continuing exploring through Creepy Castle by doing some more objectives here and there, and I think that's essentially how this goes, basically. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.